Hello everyone and welcome back to Skillstream. In today's session of Python programming series, we are diving into one of the core concepts of object-oriented programming, that is classes and objects in Python. Let's begin with today's agenda. We will understand what classes and objects are, look at the simple problem statements, and then we'll write the code together to implement it in Python. So let's get started. So what is a class in Python? A class is nothing but a blueprint for creating object. As you can see in this image, I have a blueprint, and on that particular blueprint what I am doing is I am creating a house, right? House has been implemented, or you can say house is built according to the blueprint. So it is mandatory to have a class, then only we can create an object. So that's why we are saying a class is a blueprint for creating objects. Without class we cannot create object, and for creating a class we need a keyword class. So this is the basic syntax of defining a class. Class keyword, class name. So this class name is user defined. User can give any name to the class. It is user defined. Inside class what we need to do is we need to take methods. So for defining a method we will use a keyword def. Def method 1. Self parameter is the mandatory first parameter when I am defining a function or a method. I can have parameters, 1 parameter, 2 parameter, 3 parameter. How many parameters which you need to pass in a method? Self dot parameter 1 equal to parameter 1, self dot parameter 2 equal to parameter 2, and then I am having a second method which is used for printing. Now what is an object? An object is an instance of a class. So how we will define an object, how we will create an object? So the syntax is object name equal to class name. Okay, we'll take an example like I am creating an object S. I have a class student. So this is the object, this is my class name. This is how we can create an object of a particular class. Now we'll solve one problem statement. We need to create a class called student. Attributes are given to us: name, age and grade. I need to display all these details of a student using a method display detail method. Okay, now we will write the code for it. So class student, see, class is a keyword, colon. Now def, I need to write a method. Suppose for taking input I am writing a get method. Self parameter is mandatory, comma, name. What else we need to take? Name, age and grade, colon. Now self dot name equal to name, self dot age equal to age, self dot grade equal to grade. Now I need to use function display underscore details, colon. Here I am just printing all the details of students. Student name of student, comma, self dot name. We will write the same. Age of student, age. Grade of student, self dot grade. Now we have defined the class. Now we need to call these methods. I need to call these methods. So for that I need to create object. Calling a method, I need to use object name dot method name. Now this is a parameterized method. I need to pass parameters. Now I have given parameters to my get method. Now I need to call display method. That's it. Now we will execute this. I need to pass self parameter as a mandatory parameter. So now you can see the output. Again we will see name of student Sangeeta, name of age of student 24, grade of student A. So what is the use of this self parameter? See, I need to write this self parameter as a mandatory first parameter. Okay, so self is like I am talking about myself, nobody else, right? So when I am creating one object of a class, the self parameter will only work for that particular object. Now if I am creating one more object, and I am calling the method s1 dot get, pass the values. Now s1 dot display details. Okay, now you can see when I have got all the output for S1 S also and for S1 also. I've got the output for both the objects, right? So when I'm creating this object S, at that particular time self is only talking about S object. When I'm creating S1 object and I'm calling these methods, at that time self is only talking about S1 object. Okay, so self parameter is mandatory parameter when I am writing a function or if I am writing a method. So self is I am talking about myself, nobody else. At that particular instance when I am creating an object and I am calling the method with that object, so that self will work for that particular object only, not for any other object. Okay, so this is a class with two methods. This is parameterized method. If it is a parameterized method, I need to pass the values in the method. Okay, so that's how simple it is to define a class and create objects in Python. Thanks for watching and happy coding.